Hey, Jim here from K2 Concepts. We're going to shoot a video on setting up your activator gun. I've done it a couple times before, but I still get some confusion. So this is Activator Gun 101. Little Corona for the haters. Over there on Facebook, man, it looked like Animal Planet last week. I'm glad I'm not on that anymore. Hey, if you want education, come to the k2forums.com. If you want entertainment, go to Facebook. Again, we're setting up your activator. So Activator Gun 101. First thing we want to adjust is your fan, is your air. Second is your material. Third is your fan. So what I'm going to do, I've seen a couple of guys shoot activator videos. The only thing that, in my mind, they may have said something and may have not heard it correctly, but your air pressure does change as you adjust your fan. So the first thing I want you guys to understand is that I'm going to demonstrate with my solder jet, because it's only a quarter turn between full fan and pinpoint. So we set this up 30 pounds full fan, and I'm going to show this to you guys. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here and show you on the paper here. That's a full. Obviously that's a pinpoint, so that's not going to work for us. However, if we adjusted up the full fan, which we can see we're throwing a little bit material, too much material on the high and low spot. If you look on here, drop it down to about 25 pounds. So at that point, we're going to want to adjust it. I know, just from the sake of using this gun, about 3/4 fan will give me a pretty good fan pattern. So at 3/4 fan, we're shooting about 25 pounds, so we're going to want to crank the pressure up. Because the manufacturer's specs on this gun is about 30. Oops, tripped on the prop. So, right there, a little in, there you go. This is the fan pattern we're looking for right here. It's a nice kind of a, they call it a football pattern basically, but we want to shoot something like this. So the reason for breaking out the solder jet was just to show you guys real quickly, within a quarter of a turn, how much your air pressure can change. Alright, so once we got that set up, now the next thing you want to set up is your material. Taking the gun off the material, and we'll just break it loose real quick. What we're doing is I'm shooting everything with denatured alcohol today, because it kind of hangs around a little bit better than gun cleaner, I guess. So anyhow, next you want to adjust is your material. Now your material is this knob, okay? And it may be, on every gun, it's usually the lower knob. Now if you look at the solder jet, it's the only knob. This is actually your airflow, but it's the only knob that adjusts on a solder. But most guns, like the Air Gunza and the new DeVilbiss, you're going to see that this is your material flow. This is how much product you're laying down. Okay, so what you want to do is back that needle out till you don't even feel, or back that knob out till you don't feel it hit the needle anymore. And most guys, I just tell them to back it all the way out, as far as they can go. Then turn it back in with the trigger pulled. Turn it back in until you feel it hit your material needle. Once you feel it hit your material needle, let go, and then turn it in one more turn. Same direction you're going. So all the way out, counterclockwise, pull the trigger back, turn that knob back in clockwise until it hits the needle, and you'll feel it. Once you feel it hit that needle, let go and turn it clockwise one more half a turn. And that will allow your material, the full flow of material, throwing out your activator. You want to lay down as much activator as you can. Alright? Lastly is your fan. Now your fan and your material needles are two different needles. There's a lot of confusion. Guys are out there, they're adjusting the wrong needle, or well, they're both needles in here, but they're wrong knobs, okay? So your material knob and your fan knob are two different things. The material knob controls the amount of product you're throwing. The fan controls the pattern, all right? Now, we're going to demonstrate this real quick. We're going to set this up. I know that the air goonses are supposed to set up about 29.5. So I'm going to pull a vacuum on my product. You should be adjusting at your gauge, not at your feeder valve. Alright, so this one's a little low. It's about 30 pounds. There you go. It's a little high and low, so I'm going to adjust that in. When you're shooting high and low, that means there's not enough product coming in between. So what you're going to want to do is bring those closer together to even out your product. Usually doesn't take much. You can see how it's starting to come together here. Okay? And then once you get it pretty close, at that point, what you're going to want to do is lay it down across your... And then you're going to want to read your material. See how it evaporates evenly? If you're... it's a little bit high and low here, not too much. We want to bring that fan in a little more. Yeah, you can start to see it. You can barely see it here. Not much of a difference, but you do have a high and low spot. So let's try it one more time. Starting to evaporate a little more evenly. One more time. And now we can see it's nice and even through here. Okay, so you're going to want to adjust that last, but you got to have a nice fan pattern. Double check your fan pattern. Then at that point, go back and check your air pressure. Last I want to demonstrate real quick is just the Vilbus GPI. This is what is exclusive to K2 Concepts. It's usually supposed to be about 2 bar from the manufacturer for the setup. It's actually a little high, so we're going to set it at 2 bar, which is about 29.5, 30 pounds. And you see how much wider the fan pattern is. These things are amazing. Alright, so we have this one. We've already got the material knob set up, so all we're doing is setting up the fan. And you can see it pretty much is a nice even pattern. Now, I can't, this thing's got about a 16-inch fan on it. This is a pretty amazing gun. Alright, now you can see how it's evaporating nice and evenly through here. The GPI is actually set up about a quarter turn, so you can turn your fan knob all the way in and then back it up about a quarter turn, and you're at a perfect, it's a pretty amazing gun. Alright, once you set up your fan on your gun, now at that point you're going to take it over to the tank and you're going to hold it about 12 inches above the water and you're going to lay it down, okay, and watch it tickle the water. What we're recommending on most guns now is we kind of caught an in-between. A lot of the 1.8s will shoot about 18 to 20 pounds. The 1.3s will shoot anywhere from 7 to 12 pounds, and it depends on the gun and how much water you're moving. But at the end of the day, we're settling on about 14.5 pounds. So about 1 bar on your airflow, or 14.5 pounds. That's kind of a middle ground. We've noticed as we go lower, there's more of a tendency to overactivate. As you go up, there's a tendency to move the pattern around and distort the pattern. Okay? So, again, first thing you want to adjust is your airflow. So, airflow first. Second is your material. third is your fan. And then once you set that up, you're going to want to go back and double check it with the airflow. And then just kind of work your way through these 3 steps. Lastly, what I just want to let you guys know is with your air gunzas, okay, for 1.3, your needle should be all the way in and then back out about 2 to 2.5 turns. Okay, with the 1.3 air gunza. With the 1.5, which would be used for shooting water-based paints. I know Brutal Hydrographics is coming up with their own, or not their own their own water-based paint. And what they're doing is going to market with Aqualac 35 series. You're going to want about a 1.5 to shoot that stuff at about 30 pounds. So the 1.5 tips, you're going to want to use about 1.5 to 2 turns out. So with the air gunzas all the way in, back out 1.5 to 2 turns. And then with the 1.8, again, this is for your activator guns. So this one and this one. With a 1.8, you're at about 1.5 to 1 3/4. Okay? So these are the 2 we're worried about. 1.3, 2 to 2.5 turns out. 1.8, 1.5 to 1 3/4 turns out. And you should be okay. And then again, that's at 14.5 psi at the gun. Alright? Lastly, if you're shooting the DeVilbiss, this would be the DeVilbiss GPI. So I'm going to put DeVilbiss. And don't make fun of my writing. Alright. Doesn't matter if it's the 1.8 or the 1.4. You got about 1/4 turn out for the fan. So, and you're going to throw, again, about a 16-inch fan. You saw what that thing lays down. That's one of the reasons why we went to the we went to the DeVilbiss, because that thing just lays down the activator like nobody's business. When we train, you can see behind me, we've got 2 1.3 air gunzas, we got 2 1.8 air gunzas, and then over on the tank we have 2 1.8 GPIs, which we can switch out to the 1.4 tips. It really depends on what you're comfortable with. Once we watch your technique, we can kind of see how much activator you're laying down naturally, and then we can adjust the gun from there. So that's it for this one. Again, Activator 101. Don't confuse. The biggest thing I see confusion is your material and your fan. Okay, guys are mixing those up. Make sure that when you're following the instructions or you're making adjustments to your gun, which one you're making it, because it'll screw up your whole day. So again, a little Corona for the haters. It was a good video. Join us on the forum, k2forums.com. You can get the air gunzas or the DeVilbiss GPI package, which is exclusive to us, at k2shoponline.com. Any of your activators, your K2 Brew, your Hydrovator, and we got the Hydrovator Plus coming up. That'll be on the k2shoponline.com. Take Visa, MasterCard now. So that's it for this one. I hope you guys are having a good day dipping. Oh, if you need to email me, please at k2forums@gmail.com. Hope you're having a good day dipping. We'll talk to you later.